doing, people? Random here. So I got this Trimax Puck lock that I got from a friend of mine, and I got it without a key. I got it all picked open, and I just want to show you basically how these things come apart. There's a cotter pin on the back of this, so what this would happen is this would slide directly inside this way. And that basically would lock in behind those two pins right here and right here, and then when you turn the key it would pop out like that, and there actually is a Allen screw. Remove the Allen screw, it pulls this whole thing out. I've had this part once already. It exploded in a horrible shred of parts and springs and pins everywhere, and I just want to show you why that happened, so nobody else makes the same mistake I have. So I found the easiest way to get this open, believe it or not, is to rake it. I'm not a huge raking fan, but I picked away at it for a bit, and that ended up coming to success. But I just literally got this lock open in 20 seconds. And the first time I picked away at it for a good couple minutes before I got it open. So as you know, as the some pickers would say, that an open is an open. And I think they're right. So to get this, sorry about the camera, so to get this basically pin out, what I used was an old a hinge pin out of a door. It was small enough, it was a small hinge, and I just basically put it on there. I stuck this in the vise, but I didn't actually clamp it because you don't want to basically screw up the dimensions of this. Stuck it on top of the vise with the vise open probably about a ½ inch, and then I just jammed the pin out. It's pretty, some of them get pretty stuck in there, so if you're gonna make a video of it, do what I do and go outside and get a prep first. So this is the key to these locks. You see the hole that your basically your hinge pin went through to hold the tailpiece on. 90% of the time when I open up an American, I will have it like that, 90 degrees, half moon at the bottom, and then I will slide everything right out. If you do that like I did, this hole right here goes all the way through, and as soon as you hit pin 6, that spring and that key pin, the spring and the top pin, are going to literally jam themselves inside this hole so tight that you will have to destroy the pin to get it out. Now mine got stuck on pin 3, but I'm going to gut this for you and I'm going to show you. You'll see when I got it that you'll notice one of the springs are different. Oops, so I almost did it. So you got to turn it just a bit, so it, just like that. I'll show you these pins. These pins are horrible, by the way. And I only have a key, so it doesn't matter where they go. But we'll try our best to keep some kind of order. And the tolerances in machining are pretty sloppy, because for this lock being outside that long, yeah, they shouldn't have came out that easy. Cool. So buddy of mine, Roger, he's gone now, but he was a man of, I don't know, extreme knowledge on everything, and he used to have this theory when it came to locks, that sometimes the cheaper, crappier machining can be harder to open than the good ones. And I think it comes true sometimes, because I got one here. Where did it go? It's around here somewhere, and it is the hardest lock I have to open, and it was a $10 lock. And when you take it apart, it's just horrible inside. Anyways, back to the thing on task, sorry. And if anybody that watches my channel, any subs, wants to try it out, they can, I'll send it to them. You've got to pay shipping. You can play with the crappiest lock I own. Actually, I'll send you this one too if you really want to play with a couple crappy locks. Especially if you've If you've done gutted a lot of Masters or Abysses or Slage. Slage I find has really, really good machining tolerances. So, very interesting on this thing. The top pins are basically just key pins. So instead of having a flat surface to ride against, it rides against the top. And I think the reason why they do that is because they know these tolerances are out. And if they had them like this, it would bind. So when they flip it over like that, by using key pins on the top, it makes it a smoother action for them. Which in turn also made it, and there's no serrations, there's no spools, there's nothing magical about this lock. And it's not a cheap lock. I went online and I think the average price of this is about $50 American. Oops, that spring, yeah, pin 3 is what I jammed up on before. I'll show you the spring that I replaced it with, which is just a standard copper spring. The rest of these are all, you can see the bent one right there that got stuck. Oh, there should be another one in there. Oh, fell off to the side. So there's your springs. Yeah, so if you got a trailer, if you got a work van, and you want to put a lock on it, don't waste your money on the Trimax Puck lock. It's pretty much, yeah, it's junk. It rakes open 10 times easier than it picks. When you're single pin picking this, it actually, half the time, you can't even get a full set. And when you do, it just feels weird. So if anybody wants to play around with a truly crappy lock, I'll send them this. And give me a second. Let's see if I can find my other one before we get too far off. It might already be gone. Now I'm pretty sure I have it somewhere. Yeah, either way I'll find it eventually. It's around here. And it's a copy of a American 700 body. And it's made by Guard Security. But it's the same thing. It's actually even worse than this one. The Guard, they literally stuck whatever pin they wanted inside it, and they just took it to an angle grinder and just ground the top of it flat. So it's nasty and gnarly. But either way, take care everybody. Thanks for watching my vids, and support your local locksmith. Doing a quick update here. I found the lock I was talking about, which is this Guard Security. And I got this for I think $9.95. It's a piece of junk. What I wanted to show you was that's not the right. This is the right core. This thing is horrid. When they manufactured this, what they did was they took all these pre-cut keys, which is probably 8 or 10 different types. They put these in here. They took a pin, and we'll use this for example. They were all too long for the pins. They slid them in, and they literally just ground off the top so it was flat. And I think this was in pin 2. Yeah, that's what they did. So it's just, I don't know if you can see it on that, because I can't tell on this camera if you can see it or not, but you can literally see the top of that is flat. And then they took this ball bearing, which is supposed to be the hole for number 6, put this in here. It rides against the spring, and the spring would stay inside, and it helps it lock in place because of how sloppy it is. So they were able to just use basically this one little ball bearing saved them tons of machining, tons of second out time. They didn't have to make all the pins at different lengths. They could make them all in one. And these top pins literally look like they were used 2 rocks to make them. They're all mushroomed up and they're sideways. This is a horrible lock to pick. I've got it open a couple times. There's no security pins, but with all these horrible features on here, it's pretty easy to turn a junk lock into a high security lock. I tried raking it. I couldn't rake it. It sucks. It's pretty bad. So out of the maybe 5 or 6 times I've got it open, when I did get it open, I realized it's not worth it, because every time's different. It's unpredictable. So if anybody wants to have the 2 of the junkiest locks I own, and they want to see the difference between you know, some of the good stuff like like the best, and even the A stuff. This has an American core in that one. I'm going to do a video later on. We're going to change the keying on that. And the Asses and, you know, the Abises and all that. Slage, all great brands. Stuff like this, just junk. But if you want to see it, let me know and I'll send it to you. You just pay the shipping. And thanks for watching my vids and support your local locksmith.